I hope you are well, along with your family, and protecting yourselves, not just from the coronavirus, but now it's time to start protecting ourselves from Donald Trump. I mean, even more so than what's been necessary up to this point. The latest on the Orange Ape is about as disturbing as anything I've heard regarding an American president since I've been old enough to think. He announced plans to deploy federal troops, federal law enforcement to Chicago and other cities. He threatened Monday to do this to cities. All the cities he mentioned are controlled by Democrats. Do you understand what's going on here? I hope so. I can't keep stopping and saying, I hope you understand what's going on here. I truly, honestly hope you do. Now, as expected, governors and other officials heard this Orange Ape, and they're reacting angrily. I guess angrily is the best I can come up with right now. They're calling it an election year ploy. And I would like to say to these governors and city officials who are calling this an election year ploy, I would just like to ask them, are you out of your goddamn minds? Do you really think that this has to do solely with an election year tactic by the Orange Ape? If you believe that, then Trump has already won. This is not a ploy by Trump to get reelected. This is a move by Trump to eliminate the election altogether and to establish a definite foothold in this country, if not control, of the fascist philosophy that ruined Europe. He is a fascist. Please, I just wish everybody was on the same page about that. I know a lot of people are. They're starting to realize it. But in Portland, these agents, whoever they are, they're dressed in camouflage, jungle camouflage. I mean, what kind of stupidity? What kind of asinine, juvenile stupidity dressing up in desert or jungle style camouflage? You dumb bastards, you're in a city. That's just the least of the bullshit these people are putting out, though. So they've been moving through the streets of Portland. More units are ready to head to Chicago. And then Trump said he would follow suit in New York, Philly, and Detroit and other urban centers. You do understand what's going on. Donald Trump is declaring war on the United States. You do get that. Now, how are we going to react? What are you going to do when you see federal troops armed to the goddamn teeth invading your city, your county, with orders from the Orange Ape to put down peaceful demonstrations with whatever means necessary? What are you going to do? This is something I'm seriously thinking about, because I will react. I will respond is a better word. I don't know how. I don't know where this is leading. I have my suspicions, and they're based on everything this miserable son of a bitch has said since before he was elected, but especially since. Some of these officials in the states or the cities where the orange ape is threatening to send in federal troops, they compared his actions to authoritarianism. Now, God damn it, this was in the New York Times. Peter Baker and Monica Davey and Zolan Youngs, why don't you use the proper word? This is fascism. Why don't these governors, why don't these mayors use the proper word? This is not authoritarianism. This is fascism. Why not label it as such? Are they afraid that using the F word is going to make everybody go, oh no, it couldn't be, not here. It can't happen here. But these governors and other officials who are comparing what Trump is doing to so-called authoritarianism are vowing to pursue legislation or lawsuits to stop him. Are you kidding? You're going to use legislation and or lawsuits to stop a gangster like this son of a bitch Trump, who instructed his people not even to respond to subpoenas by the U.S. Congress? And you think that he is going to let something as puny and pissy and ridiculous to him as a lawsuit? Oh my God. I'll tell you what I think should happen. This is going to upset you, I'm sure. In the cities and states where Trump is threatening this absolute fascist takeover of law and order, the governors of those states, and apparently they're all Democratic, they're all Democrats, should immediately call up the National Guard and deploy the National Guard around the perimeter of these cities, fully armed with live ammunition, with whatever weaponry is available to these various National Guards. These are the militias as ordained by the Second Amendment. The right of the people to keep and bear arms. Okay. A well-regulated militia. Okay. The National Guard should be deployed around the perimeters of these cities, and then the governors should issue a statement to the Orange Ape that says simply, we've been down this road once in the 1860s. Are you, you miserable fascist prick, ready to shove us down the same road? If your people try to invade my city, the governor of my state has ordered the troops to respond as though you were an invading force. And there we go. Now, is that scenario going to happen? I doubt it at this point. Because if and when that happens, game over. As far as any, even attention, lip service paid to the U.S. Constitution, it will be gone. It was gone once before. It's going to be gone this time. But were I governor of one of the states that had the cities that this ape is threatening to send in federal troops, whether I want them or not, this would be my reaction. I shit you not. This would be my reaction, which is probably a good thing that I am not and never could be a governor of a state. But this is bullshit. What is the alternative? To roll over and say, oh, well, we're going to file a lawsuit. While these invaders come in and start grabbing people off the street and disappearing them? That's the next step. Why do we always have to be in this country so goddamn stupid and hesitant and ignorant and unwilling to act when we see this kind of shit developing? Maybe because it's never developed like this in the past. But the orange ape is hell-bent on utterly and absolutely doing Vladimir Putin's bidding, which is to destroy the United States from within. This is what Trump is doing. I'm getting to the end of my ability to tolerate some of this mealy-mouthed responses from Democrats or mayors or governors. What the hell is wrong with you people? This is not, and for the New York Times to continue, I should say, to frame this as an election year ploy. People like Peter Baker, a journalist with the New York Times, they know better. Are they restricted by their editorial board from calling a spade, a knife, and this Trump son of a bitch a fascist? Now, Trump is putting this idea of confrontation in political terms because he's trying to find an issue. He has nothing to run on. He's got a sinking economy. He has death rolling over the country. He has demonstrations going on that could be solved with simple acts on the part of the Justice Department, and he'll do nothing. He praises Nazis and Klansmen. He's got to have something. So have you seen the commercials, the political ads, casting Joe Biden and the Democrats and everybody as somehow allowing murderers and gangsters and gang members and killers to invade our cities because all the police have gone home? The lying son of a bitch. This is what he's doing. This is what he's using to attempt to get reelected, with or without the help of his Russian owners. In the meantime, his failure, his absolute failure in the Trump pandemic, his absolute failure in the Trump economic collapse, his absolute failure in the struggle for human rights and legal rights in this country by people of color. Every place you look, Trump has failed everything because he's an incompetent asshole. He can't succeed. He never has succeeded. Everything he has or plans to get was through theft, lies, deception, lawsuits, refusal to uphold his end of a contract or a bargain. He is a gangster. He is a thug. And he is a fascist. He's trailing so badly in the polls. There's less than 100 days, just over 100 days until the election in November. And he goes after what he calls the liberal Democrats running America's cities. I swear to you, I know what I would do if I were a governor of a state that contained a city that this asshole was threatening. Oh, I have no doubt what I would do. The ape told reporters in the Oval Office yesterday, quote, "I'm going to do something that I can tell you, because we're not going to let New York and Chicago and Philadelphia and Detroit and Baltimore and all of these, Oakland is a mess. We're not going to let this happen in our country, all run by liberal Democrats. You rancid, rotten ape, you." Listen to this guy. And then the ape tried to portray these cities as out of control. He said, quote, "Look at what's going on, all run by Democrats, all run by very liberal Democrats, all run really by radical left. If Biden got in, that would be true for the country. The whole country would go to hell, and we're not going to let it go to hell." End quote. You unconscionable bastard you. This country has gone to hell since you, you ape, took over with the help of your Russian handlers. Oh my God.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.